Hello friends, and welcome back to Malicious Compliance Stories. Today's video kicks off with a drummer walking into work and spotting something he never expected. His stolen cymbals sitting right there, ready to be sold. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with the turned on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. Here we go. You can't sell what you don't own. I've been playing drums for years, and as any drummer will tell you, cymbals are sacred. They're not just expensive, they're personal. You learn how each one sounds, how it responds to your playing, and once you dial it in, that's your sound. So naturally, when I left a couple of my cymbals at a friend's house after a jam session a few weeks ago, I wasn't too worried. They were safe. Or so I thought. Fast forward to a few days ago. I work at a music store that buys, sells, and trades used gear. It's a great job when you're passionate about music, except for days like this. I walked in for my shift, just a regular morning, nothing wild. One of my coworkers was over by the photography station snapping pictures of a couple of cymbals someone had sold to the shop the day before. I strolled by and gave the usual look over. Oh hey, those are sweet. I've got the exact same. Then I trailed off. Wait. Same size, same brand, same little chip on the edge that I'd been meaning to file down. My stomach dropped. Hold up, I said, squinting at them. These are mine. I took a closer look just to be sure. The logo placement, the tape residue from an old dampener I used, everything matched. These weren't just similar, these were my cymbals. Now, our store has a policy of taking ID and personal info from anyone who sells us gear. I pulled up the receipt to see who brought them in. Name, Billy Bob. Oh, come on. I immediately pulled out my phone and called my buddy, the one whose house I'd left the cymbals at. Hey, I asked, does the name Billy Bob mean anything to you? Yeah, he replied, a little confused. He was my drummer up until like a week ago. Well, that connected the dots. Billy Bob must have taken the cymbals from my friend's place after they split, knowing they weren't his, but maybe thinking he could make a quick buck without anyone noticing. With that confirmation, I went to my managers. We're not a huge chain, but we take stolen gear seriously. After some back and forth, we decided not to involve the police yet. We figured we'd give him a chance to make it right, but regardless, we weren't going to let this slide. I texted Billy Bob directly. Hey man, the cymbals you sold to store name? Yeah, they're mine. I left them at a friend's house, and he's confirmed they weren't yours to sell. If you come back in and return the money, we won't contact the police, but you'll be banned from selling to us again. Not 10 seconds later, my phone rings. It's him. He sounded rattled. Dude, I'm on my way right now. I'm sorry. I didn't think this would happen. Sure enough, 15 minutes later, he walked through the front doors looking equal parts guilty and embarrassed. He handed over the cash he got for the cymbals, apologized, and told us the truth. He knew the cymbals weren't his. He just thought maybe he could get away with it quietly. Said he didn't expect me to see them. Which is wild, considering I worked there. We had a long talk with him in the office. At that point, we decided not to pursue legal action. He gave the money back, and I got my cymbals returned with no damage done. But there was still the matter of trust. He thanked us for not calling the cops and asked, so I can't sell anything to you guys ever again? No, I said. You're not banned from coming into the store, but we're not going to do business with you. Why? He asked, genuinely puzzled. I pointed at the buyback agreement he'd signed when he brought in the cymbals, because when you sold these, you signed a contract stating you owned the property outright, and you didn't. That's fraud. You broke the trust. And that's kind of a deal breaker in this line of work. To his credit, he nodded and didn't argue. Fair enough, he said, and left quietly. Honestly, it could have gone a lot worse. I got my cymbals back, and no one got arrested. But let this be a lesson. Musicians will recognize their gear. You're not slick, you're not clever, and if you're dumb enough to steal from a drummer and then bring his own stuff into his workplace, you deserve whatever embarrassment comes your way. You did a great job of handling it. I think the only thing that rubs me the wrong way is he knew it was wrong to do. You can tell by the way he reacted. He came quickly and accepted the news quickly. It could be one of those folks who try to see how close they can get to the line before actually crossing it. But still, good job. And our second story. Apparently, cafe closing times don't apply if you scream loud enough I work at a well-known chain cafe/bakery. You know the type. Overpriced pastries, artisan soups, and the endless stream of people who apparently believe closing time is just a suggestion. My particular location stays open a bit later than the others in the city. We close at 9:30 p.m. on weekdays and at 9 p.m. on Saturdays and Sundays. It's clearly posted online and printed in big, bold letters on the glass doors. So it's Saturday night, my shift ends at 9 p.m., and after cleaning up, clocking out, and mentally prepping for a peaceful evening, I walk out through the front door. And who do I see standing right there like she owns the pavement? A woman, let's call her W, staring at the door with the intensity of someone willing to open it by force of frustration alone. I offer a polite smile and say, "Hi there, are you here to pick someone up or just grabbing an order?" Without missing a beat, she goes, "It says online you're open until 9:30. I try not to sigh. "Oh, those are our weekday hours. Tonight's Saturday, so we close at 9. Her expression tightens. "But it says you're open until 9:30, and I want to come in and get food. You're still open." "No, ma'am. Like I said, we close at 9 on weekends. That's what's printed right here on the door. The doors are locked, the food's all packed, the registers are shut down, and our tills are counted. We're officially closed." She narrows her eyes at me. "I don't believe you, but fine, whatever." Okay then. I walk to my car in the parking lot, half expecting her to leave, but nope, she's still planted in front of the store like she's waiting for the gates of heaven to open. I get into my car and start doing the usual end of shift stuff, checking my phone, queuing up my music playlist, adjusting the AC. I glance up after a few minutes and, yep, she's still there, standing, waiting, staring at the locked door like someone just has to let her in. It's around 9:15 now, so we've been closed a solid 15 minutes. At this point, I decide to give my manager, M, a quick call inside the store. "Hey," I say, "just a heads up, there's a woman still standing out front. She didn't believe me when I said we were closed." M says, "Okay, thanks, I'll go out and talk to her." I watch from my car as my manager, fully decked out in the company uniform with a big old shift supervisor name tag, steps outside to talk to the woman. I assume this will resolve it. Nope, still doesn't believe her either. Apparently, reality is optional now. By 9:25, this woman has reached her breaking point. She starts banging on the glass door with both fists, and I mean full on, loud enough that I can hear it clear from my car. "Let me in! I just want to get my food before you close in 5 minutes. Stop lying, it says online that you close at 9:30. Mind you, our official website and Google Maps both list our hours correctly. The problem? She apparently didn't look at what day it was. I wasn't about to call the police on her, that felt like overkill, but I also wasn't about to let her keep harassing my coworkers. So I called mall security and asked them to come check it out. A security officer pulled up a few minutes later and calmly approached her. It took a few minutes of animated, theatrical hand-waving, but eventually he convinced her to leave the area. She stomped off in the direction of the parking lot, muttering angrily to herself, probably plotting a Yelp review about how we ruined her life. All of this drama, door pounding, yelling, and refusing to believe not one but 2 employees just because she didn't bother checking what day it was when she Googled our hours. Seriously, it's a cafe, not an emergency room. We sell sandwiches and soup, not salvation. Getting a bit frustrated about discrepancies between online and in-store info is one thing, but insisting that employees are lying to you about the store they work at being closed is an entirely different ballpark. If the door's locked, it's freaking closed. And our last story. Karen thought my lawn was a parking lot. When I finally bought my house, I thought I'd escape the chaos of apartment living for good. No more shared walls, no more mystery smells in the hallway, just peace, a porch swing, and a patch of lawn to call my own. What I didn't realize was that I'd also inherited the street's biggest walking headache, Karen. Everyone warned me, "Oh, that Karen, good luck, loud voice, bigger ego," and apparently her Lexus couldn't physically remain on her property. For 8 solid months, this woman treated my front lawn like her personal parking pad. Every morning, there it was, silver SUV, tires half buried in my grass, front bumper practically kissing my azaleas. The first time it happened, I thought, okay, maybe it was a mistake. People mess up. I walked over and knocked. "Hi, Mrs. Karen. I think you might have accidentally parked on my lawn." She didn't even look up from her phone. Oh, I'll just be a minute. That minute stretched into 6 hours. I guess time works different in Karen land. I started with politeness, little notes on her windshield, smileys and everything. She used them as scratch paper. No joke, one fluttered past me down the street with 2% milk, eggs, bread scribbled right over my plea for her to stop running my lawn. I contacted the HOA. They sent a letter. Police? No help either. Is she blocking your driveway? No, she's just parked in my grass. Yeah, sorry, not something we can do anything about. I resodded the yard twice. The third time, I found myself standing ankle deep in mud, doing math in my head, $450 in grass, 4 weekends lost, and the last shred of my patience. That was it. Time for options. Next time her car was on my lawn, I took pictures, called a tow company. Enter Ron, the kind of guy who probably arm wrestles grizzly bears for fun. 15 minutes later, he was winching her precious Lexus onto a flatbed. She exploded out of her front door like a banshee in a leopard robe, curlers bouncing. "You can't do this," she screamed. Ron didn't even blink. Property owner said tow it. "You're gonna regret this," she spat at me. "I just prefer you used your own driveway," I replied, deadpan. If Karen wanted to play games, then fine, we'd play. I waited for her usual bridge club outing. Yes, bridge club is real apparently, then went to work. I built a raised garden bed right in her usual landing zone, heavy railroad ties, loads of mulch, and a lineup of thorny, mean-as-hell barberry bushes, the kind that bite back. To really drive it home, I soaked the area with the hose until the ground squished underfoot. She came home, stepped out of her car, and froze. "What is this?" I casually tossed a handful of mulch. "Landscaping. Seemed like the right spot since you love this part of my yard so much." She huffed and puffed, then tried to get back in the car, only to realize the driver's door was blocked by thorny branches. Watching her scramble over the center console from the passenger side was satisfying. The tires couldn't grip the soaked grass. She spun in place like a frustrated Roomba, spraying mud everywhere on her car, the garden, herself, before finally jolting forward, plowing through 2 petunias and crunching the edge of the bed. She rolled her window down just long enough to hiss, "You're insane!" I smiled. Nope, just a gardener with boundaries. The HOA ended up fining her for sidewalk damage. My CCTV footage was very helpful. One neighbor told me she tried to report my illegal garden to the city. The inspector came out, took one look, and apparently chuckled. "Looks like natural consequences to me." Karen hasn't parked on my lawn since. She uses her driveway now. Miracles do happen. When she walks by, she scowls at the bushes like they insulted her mother. She acted like she could do whatever she wanted, and instead she ended up face to face with barberry bushes and soggy grass. And the fact even the city inspector just shrugged and called it natural consequences? That's great. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.